Ew. Gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
I need new music.
Discover new music now. JJO.
Discover new music. My guest today, he's an author. He's an actor, athlete. I've seen him conquer the ring. He's currently conquering the stage as lead singer of Fozzy. I think the only thing left is probably president. What do you think? Chris Jericho, 2024?
Well, I'm a dual citizen, so I could technically be the first ever undisputed ruler of North America. I'll become the president and the prime minister at the same time. How's that? Hold my beer.
Speaking of beer, Canadian beer or American beer?
I honestly haven't had a beer in about 12 years. I stopped drinking beer and switched to vodka. So, yeah, that was a smart move. But when I was drinking beer, American beer was a little bit better. So I would go with American, but I literally haven't had a beer in 12 years.
You got to watch the carbs, you know, you're getting older, you got to stay fit, you know?
Yeah, I did go through, actually, it's pretty funny. James Hetfield and I did the caveman diet together. It was kind of a earlier version of paleo diet. And I just thought, well, I'm just going to stop drinking beer and whiskey. I'll just start drinking vodka because it's clear. So there's obviously no calories in that, right? Turns out I was wrong. There's still calories in vodka, almost as much as there is in beer anyways. But at least the intentions were good.
Let's get into Fozzy. You started this band really in 1999, first album in 2000. Now here we are over 2 decades, 8 studio albums later. That's got to make you step back a little bit, Chris.
Yeah, it's really cool because, I mean, you know, and anyone that knows my story, and for those who don't, is that I've always played in bands. I've been playing in bands since junior high school, since I was 13 years old. And I always wanted to play in a band and be a wrestler. And we started Fozzy in 2000, kind of almost under different circumstances. But over the last 5 or 6 years, ever since we started getting played on rock radio, the band has basically gone through the roof. And I never realized how important rock radio was still until we started getting played on radio, and you realize it means the world. But you don't get played on radio just because you want to be on radio. It's very hard, as you know, to get a single added and to get some steam in radio. It's virtually impossible because there's so many heavy hitters. But here we are now. I mean, I Still Burn just it cracked the top 25. That's our 6th consecutive top 25 single. And it's also our fastest single to crack the top 25. So we now have a little bit of radio history. So when a new Fozzy song comes out, well, let's give it a little bit of a shove and see what it does. And that's kind of reflected on our live shows, on, you know, the sales of the band, on the perception of the band. So it's gone through the roof over the last few years. And it's been really, really cool to see the evolution of the bands because the longevity is there, but the intensity and the growth of the band is bigger now than it's ever been. And there's not a lot of bands that are bigger after 20 years than they were earlier in their career. So we're late bloomers and we're growers, not showers, but we're really starting to show now. Strong really like bull.
There you go. But do you think maybe where you're at now and seeing that success, seeing that rise, is it more serious in the later albums of it as opposed to maybe when you first started? Was it more in 99, 2000? I just want to have some fun, get on stage. And now that growth, has that changed your mindset maybe a little bit?
I think almost any band would tell you that. You know, if you go to, you know, Metallica, the biggest rock band in the world, you know, or AC/DC, I mean, they all started playing covers just like we did. It's just that our early albums were mostly covers. And it was just kind of like, holy smokes, like somebody wants to sign this band. Well, let's do it. Mm-hmm. And then in about 2010, Rich Ward and I said, let's take this as far as we can. Let's make this our priority and really go for it. And that's when you could really see, because we're both very driven. And, you know, we have had to work twice as hard for people's respect solely because I'm in the band. I mean, that's sorry, you know, I also wrestle, but I think, you know, every band has a gimmick. Slipknot wears masks and AC/DC has a guy in a schoolboy uniform. Like that matters for one song. And then you start listening to the music. Is it good music or is it bad music? And we realize, listen, we don't mind working hard and we don't mind blowing people's expectations out of the water because we're playing great music. We're playing great rock and roll and we have a great live stage show. We connect with our audience like no other. So that's something we always knew we had. And if we keep working on it, all the non-believers will turn into believers. And the people that still have a problem with our band because Chris Jericho is in the band, they're never going to be fans anyways. So we don't worry about them. Who cares?
Yep.
You know, that's okay. The best bands are always very polarizing.
Madison Solid Rock 94.1 JJO. I'm Brock, and my guest for JJO Discover New Music is Chris Jericho of Fozzy.
So the new album Boombox, and you mentioned the current single I Still Burn, which is climbing up the charts, which I got to tell you is such a cool, unique sounding track. It's got that kind of clean, funky guitar riff and then boom, hits you in the face when you get to the chorus, when you get to the I Still. Was there some kind of inspiration? Because you don't hear that kind of clean guitar into something heavy like that. It's an interesting mix, if you will.
Well, we started working with Johnny Andrews. He's our producer and he's a songwriter with us. And he brought into this, to Fozzy, this really cool kind of, it's the triple hook. It's something that Def Leppard does where you have, okay, that's the hook. Okay, no, that's the hook. No, well, that's the hook. And I think it started with Judas and Burn Me Out and Nowhere to Run and Sane had it. This one has it really dynamically more than those other songs do. And I think Johnny wrote the lyrics for that one, but I'm the one who has to sing them. And they're very much inspired by my career, but it's not just my career. It's the story that we all have of this desire and this goal to succeed. And whatever that is, if you wanted to be a DJ or in a rock band, or you wanted to be in a rock band and a wrestler, or you wanted to be a pharmacist, I think everyone can relate to this song for that reason and for a positive reason. Everyone can relate to Judas, which is why it was such a big hit, but those lyrics are a little bit more darker. Everyone I've ever loved, I've pushed them all the way. Everyone knows what it's like to just want to be on your own and making the wrong decision and betraying yourself and betraying the ones you love. I Still Burn is the opposite. Every time they think I'm at my end, I get up again. I still burn, and I got the passion and fire in my veins, and it never changes. And I think that's the reason why this song has potential to be the biggest Fozzy song, because of the dynamics of it that you mentioned and the lyrical content, which is very uplifting and inspiring rather than dark and dirty.
Anthem, a call to arms.
Very much so. Yeah. Yes. And I think that's one of the themes of this record, indirectly. It is the call to arms. And you know, this was not written during the lockdown. We had these songs where we were actually calling the record Chinese Fozzocracy for the longest time because we started it in May of 2019. We opened a stadium show for Iron Maiden in LA as a direct support. September of 2019, they invited us to support them on this show. So we wanted to have a single ready for it. So Nowhere to Run, which is on Boombox, was recorded in May of 2019. Here we are in May of 2022, and the record is just coming out. And that's because we had these songs ready. They've been done and mixed and mastered for a year, but they're so good, we didn't want to just release them into the wilderness. And there is a real call to arms theme to this record, which does fit where we're at in the world right now. We're back, baby. We're ready to rock and leave all the crap behind us. Still a little uncertain, but we're positive, and we're gonna make it happen and make it work together. And that's kind of the overall theme for the record that actually was written before the lockdown and pandemic, but timing wise, it fits perfectly.
I think that's something that the world needs, and nothing better than to get it just fed right to us from Fozzy.
Absolutely.
Is there a song on the album that maybe is one of your favorites, really speaks to you or really stands out? Like if someone said, hey, Chris, pick me one song off this album.
There's a song called Purifier on the record. Kind of has got a very heavy, almost like a modern day Looks That Kill, Motley Crue type vibe with a great chorus. That one is my favorite in the set right now because it's really fun to sing. There's some great vocal dynamics. We've got a lot of visuals behind us of like horror movie dynamics from movies and things along those lines. We have great production, 10 TVs behind you showing horror movie images during Purifier.
I love it, man. Well, we're going to see that very soon as the summer opens up, like we talked about, tours and all that good stuff to support the latest album, Boombox. The only thing I will have to say about the title of the album is, for the younger generations, we might have to explain to them what a boombox is. We could maybe say it's the old MP3 player. I guess that's what it would be. So,
well, that's the thing. We wanted to do a an album title that was a little bit more reflective of our show, which is a very high energy, fun show. Do You Want to Start a War? Judas, Sin and Bones. Those are dark album titles. This one, we said, let's try Boombox. It sounds like a party. It's fun. If you know what a boombox is, it brings back that imagery. If you don't, it's still curious. What is it? That sounds interesting. It's a way of listening to music that makes you smile and makes you want to go to the beach and makes you want to ride my mom's stereo was broken. I used to have a boombox for the stereo in my mom's car when I was a teenager. So it's a good sounding, good, happy vibe, which provides what we do live, which is just a fun, energetic, great rock and roll show.
I love it. Layers on that, folks. It's not just a name.
That's right.
There's layers in that.
We're very layered people.
I love it. Chris, before you go, can we do rapid fire real quick?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, so this is rapid fire with Chris Jericho. There's no wrong answers. You just go with what's in your heart. Okay, Chris?
Got it.
Let's start with something easy. Camel clutch or German suplex?
German suplex.
Chili dog or corn dog?
I go chili dog.
More drums or more bass?
More bass. I'm a bass player.
Disco or techno?
Disco by far.
I could see you doing some disco. I can see you breaking.
Disco had great players in the bands too. That's one of the reasons why. Yeah.
True. Would you rather see Bigfoot or El Chupacabra?
Bigfoot.
Lastly, one chest slap from Andre the Giant or 100 chest slaps from the Where's the Beef Lady?
She'd probably have a heart attack and die after 20. So I'd take hers. Have you seen the size of Andre's hands?
It's insane.
It's big as our head. It would cave your chest in. So I'll take a Clara Peller chop any day.
That's the quote of the year right there. Right there. We got it. We'll call it.
You never thought you'd hear a Clara Peller mentioned on the Chris Jericho interview.
That's unbelievable. You heard it here, folks. Awesome. Well, thank you for humoring me. And it's always great catching up with you, Chris. Boombox, it's out. Fozzy going to bring it to you. The latest single, I Still Burn, out there rocking the airwaves. So make sure you keep your ears peeled and then get that new record, Boombox. All right, brother, I'll let you get back to it. And thanks again for the time, man.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. And we're looking forward to coming back to Madison and the Sonic Boom, right? Did it in the middle of the city the last time in the Town Square. We did it last time.
Oh, that was Taste of Madison. I think you were.
There you go. A taste of Madison.
Yeah. We'll get
a taste of Fozzy and a taste of a chili dog. There you go. Cheers.
Discover new music now on the homepage of WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts.